Next speaker is Michael Phillip, who's our Vice County Recorder for Lanarkshire and the organiser of one of the most successful local groups in the country, Team 77. Over to you, Michael.
Thanks, Jim. Flattery gets you everywhere. I'm humbled to be in the presence of botanical greatness. We've heard from many people today who have expertise that I can only dream of. And at the end of such a feast of botanical input, I'm glad to be the dessert. So hopefully it will be something maybe a little lighter and a little bit different. A little bit of background about me. I'm not a botanist, I'm a musician. Botany's been my hobby all my adult life, but music has been the driving force. And to use a musical analogy, as we get on to thinking about local groups, it's nice to listen to a solo classical guitarist or a solo flautist. And in many places in Scotland, we have key individuals who do amazing amounts of work and have amazing local expertise, who have been individually responsible for much of the record for their vice counties. But with a solo flute or a solo guitar, you'll never have a Mozart symphony. And I would like to see recording in Scotland on a more symphonic scale, if I can put it that way, where larger numbers of people get involved, many hopefully for the first time. The word group may be slightly daunting because it implies a level of structure and organization which some may feel is an unnecessary adjunct to work that's being done by just a few people. So I'm hoping to dispel some of those fears just now. So I'm trying to ask the question, local groups, what's the point? They may seem unnecessary. I want to pay tribute to my illustrious predecessor, Dr. Peter McPherson, who was the Vice County Recorder for Lanarkshire for 35 years, from his early retirement in the medical world to his death in 2015 in his 90th year. And even up until the year of his death, he was very active in the field. He served a stint as the national BSBI president, and he has contributed to two particular publications in the Lanarkshire area. One is his big Flora of Lanarkshire, which is the go-to book for all of us in this area. And the other, he jointly authored with Professor Jim Dixon and with Keith Watson, who's the current recorder for Renfrewshire, a well-known book called The Changing Flora of Glasgow, which was at the end of the 20th century, the 1900s. So big boots to fill. How on earth was I going to follow an act like Dr. Peter McPherson? The Glasgow Natural History Society, of which he was a prominent member for decades, planted a tree in his memory within the grounds of Glasgow University, and there's a very nice plaque there, as you can see. And on the right, you see me sitting in the shade of this infant Quercus petrea, Peter's tree. And I'm looking across at the facade of Wellington Church on University Avenue, which happens to be in a serendipitous crossing of paths, happens to be where my parents first met and where they were married. And I'm contemplating, how on earth do I, with my modest botanical knowledge and my lack of botanical leadership, how on earth do I follow an act like Dr. McPherson? I was going to need some help, clearly. And I was very fortunate to suddenly find a personal contact who was like all my dreams come true. And I'm quite sure you can make a personal discovery like this in your area. So now I'm going to make the introduction. And before I reveal who it is, I'm just going to list a few of the categories, the qualities of this person, because it really is almost too good to be true. First of all, it's a person of vast experience. I remember recently being in Glasgow, standing in front of a plant that I couldn't recognize and saying, I have no idea what that is. And back came the answer, not only do I know what it is, but I can tell you that the last time I saw it was on the quayside at Lowestoft. That's the kind of person you need at your elbow. A depth of knowledge. It goes into the minutiae of plant identification. It just flows. There's always more information in the field coming from this person. A person of infectious enthusiasm who can't wait to get the boots on and get out there and do field botany. Infectious enthusiasm. But at the same time, somebody who has a kind of steadying hand on the tiller, who says, yeah, are you really sure it's that? Because if you're not sure, it goes ag, or if you're not sure, don't record it at all. That's been useful to me on many occasions. So a bit of methodology, a bit of meticulousness, that's a good thing to have at your side. As well as the field skills, there are computer skills, amazing computer skills. This is a person able to run complex queries from the DDB, able to extract statistics and create dot maps, which helps to inform fieldwork priorities. What are we going to do? Good to have in the digital age. A person with creative ideas. Why don't we try this? Or have you considered that? Always full of ideas, always keeping the momentum going forwards. This is someone also with all the right connections. So when a problem comes up or a question comes up, or when you reach an impasse on something, this person always seems to know who to contact. It's wonderful. So again, a valuable person to have at your side. Always approachable, never the wrong moment to make contact. Have you got a minute? Yeah, of course. This is great, the open door. That's what you need. By the way, have you any idea who it is yet? Maybe you know this person. A gentle manner. Sometimes people with erudite knowledge communicate it in a way which alienates people. But my friend here includes people, always happy to take time to explain, always wanting somebody else to learn, to understand, to grow. Full of energy, energy that puts me to shame. Always first to arrive at an outing, always the first to climb the fence, or to volunteer to cross the river, or to go up the steep slope, to tackle the hard ground. This person is an encourager who will say in a quiet moment, think back to 2 years ago and where you were at, and look at how your knowledge has increased, and look at how your experience has deepened. Can you not see that you're doing well? We all want to hear that sometimes. Someone skilled with a camera as well. Before even I came along, they had a huge library of excellent photographs of plants. And strangely, many of them were taken in my Vice County. So it's a repository of fantastic reference material. A person who shares things. It can be lending a book. It can be handing over the hand lens. It can be coming up with waterproofs because you've forgotten your own. It could be even the last sandwich. Okay, someone who's willing to share. And best of all, and last but not least, fun to be with, somebody whose company you enjoy, who likes a good laugh, whose very participation makes you look forward to the next time that there's an outing coming up. So, who on earth embodies these characteristics? Well, I can reveal who this is, and you probably won't believe it, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to introduce today, for the first time, Team 77. Team 77 has formed over the past few years, and all those characteristics I've just listed are present in the team. Of course, it would be too good to be true for all that to be in one person, but all that is present nonetheless. What is Team 77? It's a network. I like to describe it as a loose network, and that's not talking about their personal morals, by the way. A network of 60 plus, and that doesn't apply to their age, by the way. 60 plus botany enthusiasts in Lanarkshire, around 20 of whom usually turn up at some point during the year to get the boots on and to help in the field. We organize quite a number of outings, usually over 30 outings per year. And so we can cover a lot of ground between us. We have a newsletter that keeps everyone up to date with what's going on. It's attractive, it's full of pictures, it's full of good stories. Collaboration between the members of the network goes on all the time. So people, it's not all coordinated through me. People ask each other things and sometimes copy me in. And it's great to see this correspondence network buzzing. And my email is busy, batting ideas around and giving advice and asking questions, sending photos in. People send me pictures and send each other pictures, asking for help to know what things are. We have people of all levels of experience within the network. And the great thing is to see people wanting to improve their knowledge. We only have one meeting a year indoors, so we don't have a talks program. We don't have that kind of structure. We're just simply a web of people who contact each other. We don't have a structure. We don't have a budget. No money changes hands. Best of all, we don't have a committee. There are no roles. There are no stresses about getting things done by a certain time. We're a bunch of enthusiasts who have got in touch with each other, and by teamwork, we can do great things. And one remarkable fact is that the whole of this, now you may look at this and think, we need a network like that. How do we do it? How long would that take? 2 years. In Lanarkshire, it took us 2 years to get from a few individuals were aware of each other, let's put it that way, but it's built into this thing, which has now acquired a legend, which is entirely undeserved, by the way, called Team 77, which was built in 2 years. That can be true also where you are if you go for it. What's the point of a network like this? Well, I can show you it in graphic form. That is the point. In the post Team 77 era, recording in Lanarkshire has reached 2 or 3 times the level from previously. It wasn't by any means poor previously, but it has really taken off with the network model. So if that's the point, what's the starting point? Well, first of all, obviously, you have to find people. And then really importantly, once you have people linked in, you need to give each individual, as far as possible, some kind of development pathway, some kind of way of improving what they know and what they can do and what skills they can contribute. So I don't need to tell you how to find people. I've put some ideas here and you can read them at your leisure. And some of them will be more appropriate than others. When I mentioned schools, by the way, don't get in contact with your local secondary school with a circular email. That is not the way to go about it. But you may know somebody in a school science department, and that might be an in. So you can use your imagination to find people. And of course, the people you find may bring other people. Developing people, so important. So from people who are beginners and want to really get into field botany, you can give them endless encouragement, you can walk with them, you can show them stuff, fuel their interest. Keep the network informed through a newsletter. Encourage people to contribute what they can contribute. Ask for help. None of us are above asking for help sometimes, and help is there if we ask for it. And most importantly, be a source of encouragement. My mum used to say, people are drawn towards the source of their encouragement. I was going to say like moths to a flame, but that's not very environmentally sound. So I'll say like a magnet. If you're an encourager, you will be a magnet for people. So I've talked about a network or a loose network, but it might not be appropriate where you are. What about something much smaller? And Jim's already referred to this, and indeed John has referred to it in the urban flora context, groups of 2s and 3s. While a network is useful in some ways, small groups, as we know, are best for field work. I have a contact in West Sussex, and she is the field meetings convener for the West Sussex Botany Group. I hope I've got that title right. And I don't know if you're watching today. If you are, hello. She asked me once, how many people come to your meetings? And I said, well, we don't really have meetings in that formal sense, but we would normally get 3 or 4 people turning up on a day to do field work together. How many do you have? And she said, typically 25. Well, how on earth do you do field recording with a group of 25 people? And how do you learn? How do you teach each other with a group that huge? We all know that small groups are best for field work, better in many ways, and particularly to develop people's interest and have them ask questions and learn. And sorry, could you explain that again, please? Whereas 24 of the 25 might have wandered off when that question was asked. It can be dealt with in a small number. So I'm very much wanting to promote the development of new small groups sporadically all over Scotland. And also, I would like to invite you to consider what a bigger network could do in your area. So if you're interested either in forming a new group or helping to foster a new group, or you would like to discuss expanding a network or forming a network, there are my contact details. You're welcome to contact me anytime. It could be significant. I'll stop there, and if there are questions, I'll be glad to give it a go. Thank you.